Okay, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. I am weirdly off center. I moved my monitor or something. Um, we're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and
Woo!
Dragons that's
Dungeons
off
and
center.
Dragons.
I'm Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight: Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry slash Vertigo slash question mark.
I have a theory and many questions.
Mm. Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn.
Good evening.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends.
And Jenny Meltzer as Zaylene.
Hello.
So, when we last left our heroes, the Pocket Protectors, they have been trying to figure out what they need to do to prepare to confront a terrible entity from beyond the known space, sometimes called the Destroyer, sometimes called the Blob of Annihilation, that you now understand to have, quote, conquered the construct makers and made their strength his own. So what that means, you're not sure, but sounds bad. So you decided to go and try to recollect one of the powerful ancient relics you had had access to previously, only to discover that a kraken had claimed it by virtue of swallowing it. And eventually you made a deal where the kraken granted you a boon in exchange for being allowed to keep the diamond with infinite facets. And so you are now all newly empowered as a result of getting kraken booned. But you're also now, I assume you could have gotten back in your rowboat and rowed back over to the Ugly Betty, the ship that you had hired in order to come and get this thing. The sailors are all very impressed with you now for having briefly fought and then treated with a kraken. But you know that there are a lot of other moving pieces still at large in the world. So, Pocket Protectors, what would you like to do?
Need a shower, but I don't know how that would work because, like, I can walk on water. Like, we can't be submerged for, I don't know how long was it, like an hour?
It was an hour, so
Yeah.
probably 20 or 30
Yeah.
minutes of that is gone.
I mean, it's not like you're scotch guarded. You can be wet. You just wouldn't be able to go below the surface. So, like, if
Yeah.
it was a
It's gonna
shower
be,
or a sponge bath or something, you could still do that, but you wouldn't be able to take a bath.
Take a swig of water and it just keeps dribbling down your chin.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You know what? If you want it
Um,
to work that way, that's fine by me.
yeah, that gives me a reason to be like, I don't want to shower. I can't shower. Um, I think that we need to figure out where we're gonna go from here. Um, and while we do that, maybe take a nap.
There's not a lot
Well,
of things we know for certain, but we do know that the blob has encountered the construct makers. So it seems like the most logical place to start to find it.
Although, what you also learned in Emersham was that, some of the construct makers had already sort of made a foothold there, but when you passed through that city, you were told that many more of them had shown up unexpectedly and without a lot of pre planning. So, something seems to be happening.
Do we think our captain might know more?
I mean, I think he told you that much, which was
Yeah.
that what he told you was that it wasn't just that it was busy, it was that specifically there had been a plan and then all of a sudden way more ships showed up, and so everything's chaotic right now because they're having to try to deal with way more people than was originally planned.
Feels like people fleeing.
Or trying to take over
yeah,
to like establish a foothold.
kind of felt like refugee state things going on.
I don't know. They were like shipping in a bunch of stuff. There was all those ships crowding the harbor. I mean, I think some of them could be refugees, but I don't know. It feels more sinister than that.
As
Well-
much as I am a fan of theories, the best way to find out is to talk to some of them, try to find out more directly.
I mean, maybe there's somebody on the ship in the crew that would know more
I
than
mean,
the
Captain
captain.
Darren says, I mean, my crew has just gotten off of a mission, and none of us even went ashore before you hired us to go right back out. So we don't really know much more than that. Although what I can tell you is that the impression I got was that the first of the construct makers to arrive seemed like they knew what they were doing. Now it seems chaotic. This doesn't feel like it was anybody's plan.
You're leaving, right? You're not going back. Isn't that what you said?
Well, that was kind of my thinking, is that I was getting the vibe like something's going down and maybe I'd have some safer waters up further north. But, you all have paid for a ride, so if you want to go back to Emersham, I'll take you there, but I'm not going to stay.
How close could you get us to Dinethir that you would feel comfortable with?
Well, I mean, now that the island is there, I suppose we could, I know they've got docks there. I suppose I can't necessarily promise you that we'll go right up and drop you on the docks, but we can get you relatively close if it looks safe enough.
Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. If you could get us close enough that we could just take, if you don't mind, the small boat to the shore, so as not to put you and your ship in any further risk.
We'll want to send one of our people in the boat with you so they can bring it back, if that does not offend.
Oh, no, that's totally fair.
Well,
I mean, you could
I
buy
mean-
our rowboat from us if you want, but you can't just have it.
How long would it take to get to Denethir?
I mean, it's not too long. We could be there by
We're
sundown.
about halfway.
It would be best if we can find a way to disguise the ship. We do know that there are things that can rove out to sea, both on the sea and above, that might not be friendly.
How
Well,
do you
I-
mean disguise the ship?
I'll make it so that it doesn't appear to be just a ship. Maybe make it look like there's a fog bank rolling in. I don't do this sort of thing. I know there are
that
magics to do
reminds
it.
me of a story I once heard, and I don't remember where, of this druid that could just create a landscape that disguised everything, and it just looked like the landscape was there.
That
Too
sounds
bad we
great.
haven't-
I don't know how to do that. I mean, the
Me.
closest we could do is raise a different flag.
I mean, I think we're overthinking this a little bit. I think maybe we should just go.
It's
I
not like
thought
we
you
weren't
guys
attacked the
wanted-
first time we went there. Oh yeah, we were by two things.
I
And
thought
on the
you
way
guys-
out.
Look,
I thought you
What were
guys
you gonna
wanted
say?
to get a rest. So why
I
don't
would
we like
love to.
find a route that'll get us there in the morning so everyone can get a rest tonight? Can we do that, Captain?
I mean, you're paying customers. If you want to go ashore at sunlight instead of sundown, that's fine by
Well,
me.
Yeah, I think we want to approach the island in the morning, not be where they can see us.
Fair enough.
until
Would you
then.
like us to stay here where we are in the meantime, or do you have? We can figure it out unless you have a specific preference that we'll work with.
Is that all right with everyone?
The rest
As long
would
as
be
the
good.
Kraken doesn't come back.
Yeah, well, I don't think
It
the
said it
Kraken
would
will
let
come
us
back.
go, but if we don't go, that doesn't mean anything.
We can move in the right direction at least for a while.
Yeah, and then sure, that works.
All right. So, the plan then is that they are planning to get you a bit closer to the island, but only kind of just to where it's like in view, but otherwise keeping distance and being off the sort of most traveled paths, and then lay anchor until it's time to head that way in the morning. And there's not a lot of spare room on the ship. It's not really a passenger vessel necessarily, but he makes the cargo hold is more or less empty because they just unloaded. So he certainly makes that part of the ship available to y'all.
We could just set up the tower, so that way we're not in their way too. So I'm going in the tower.
Probably for the best.
Which-
I've got some studying to do.
So I will set the tower up in the cargo hold,
Okay.
and I will let the captain know that if he needs anything from us to just knock and that we'll hear it.
I
Knock
think I'm
on
gonna
that
stay
little
out.
tower, and then you pop inside, and he's like, "Okay, magic, I got it."
I think I'm gonna stay out, hang with the crew, maybe listen for some new sea shanties or whatnot. To
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna go snuggle up with Buster and go to sleep.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything before they kind of start long resting?
I'm gonna meditate again and try to like figure things out. Like we don't need to role play it or anything. I'm
Sure,
just
sure.
still like trying to figure this out. Like what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I read?
Well, so I think you certainly know, having just kind of engaged in battle and everything. It's not like you've lost your contact with your magic or anything. You've not been cut off.
Right.
But so it is certainly. I think you are sensing something there.
Mhm.
If you would like, you can make either a religion check or a wisdom check to try to think more about, insight, I guess, religion or insight, depending on which one you roll, will maybe have different information.
I'm gonna do religion.
Okay.
I should just have Lynn do it for me though.
Well, I'm not sure that would work in this case.
I know. 22.
22 is pretty good. So I think that what you recognize here is that, first of all, the Mistress of the Dark is not generally known for being an especially vocal deity who is constantly talking to her devotees, right? Like, that's not common. But nonetheless, I think what you are forced to kind of consider is that all of the ways that you are maybe feeling anxiety about having maybe possibly displeased her may in fact have displeased her. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like one of those things where it's not like you've not been cut off, but it's also a case of like, well, maybe if you have done something that you don't think she liked, maybe you need to do something about it and not just ask her. Because you probably do already know, really. Like, what does she have to tell you that you don't actually already know?
Right. Okay.
So I think it's kind of a case of like, typically historically she is more responsive to actions than to words.
All right. I'm gonna have to go and kill some of those soul-sucking people.
Go ahead and make an insight check too.
17.
Okay. I think that you do have a little bit of a feeling where you were maybe already feeling a little bit of a sense of like, I've maybe touched something that, I now feel bad about having done. And then you followed that up with seeing something that you knew to be antithetical to her ways, and not only leaving it as it was, but allying with it.
Mm, okay, that makes sense. Oh,
And that's the thing too, is that I think you are mature enough in your connection and understanding of the Mistress of the Dark here that it's not like you're not being punished, right? This is not a case of like, oh, well, she's getting the silent treatment because she did the wrong thing. It's just that you have kind of made some decisions that take you in a different direction. And so it's a sort of like, well, she's not going to pursue you.
okay. All right. I will sit with those realizations and plot ways to destroy the evil, but only after we kill the blob.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the sort of thing where, sometimes you have to make tough decisions. And there can be an understanding that it was a tough decision to make, but that doesn't mean that you are immune to the consequences of whatever decision you make.
Right.
All right. So, do you do anything else, or you just kind of continue to meditate on that?
I'm going to meditate on that.
Okay. It sounded like Zinhorn was just going ahead and going to bed. Vertigo, were you doing anything specific, or just kind of the more generic studying your spells and such?
Yeah, there's lots of flashes of light and the air is quite cold as he's experimenting with a few things.
Mhm.
But generally it's that sort of thing for
Yeah.
a few hours.
Okay. So, Lynn, uh, the assumption here is that, like, eventually, if you're going to want a long rest, you're going to need to go to bed. But it doesn't mean that there is literally no time for hanging out a little. What are
Yeah, because yeah,
I
it
mean,
seemed like it was. Go ahead.
right. So, like, the people on the ship, I think you have a little bit of. Well, go ahead and make an insight check, to kind of get, vibe check. And give you-
26.
Yeah, and give you the opportunity to. Yeah, so you definitely get the sense here that while they're not going to turn down paying customers, a lot of the crew on the ship was actually pretty irritated at having to go right back out again and not even really getting to go ashore. However, that is somewhat mitigated by the fact that, like their captain, they do kind of have a sense that things aren't right in Emisham. And so they weren't 100% sure, but it's a little bit like they would have preferred to be able to deal with that feeling on their own terms and not just have the choice taken away from them. That said, y'all just fought a kraken, so they're definitely not going to mess with any of you, and they're not even really like mad or angry because it seems obvious that you're doing important things. But there is just a little bit of a feeling like they were looking forward to having some shore leave and they didn't get it, and now they're just sitting here with waiting for morning so that they can do something again. So they have
Well,
jobs and stuff. They're keeping the ship clean and repaired and all, but
well, maybe just to sort of appease is the wrong word, but to make it a little more worth their while,
Mhm.
probably spend the evening like just kind of entertaining the
Sure.
crew and some little song, little dance,
Yeah,
maybe some stories.
sure.
Um, yeah, and I'm sure there are plenty of questions.
Yeah. You want to
So
roll
yeah,
a
I would probably
performance?
be free with that information and yeah, tell
Okay.
them all about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, performance check. Cool. So that was technically a natural one,
Mm-hmm.
but I also have a wait, hold on. Yeah, I also have a plus 16, so it's a 17. Like,
Okay.
uh,
So I think that there's a recognition internally. You know who off tonight. Whoa, boy. But that said, it's a little there's a degree to which like you know the expert concert pianist performing at the local bar might know they missed some notes, but the tavern patrons don't. You know what I mean? Like, so they have a great time, and I think that you brighten the mood pretty considerably, assuming that that's the energy you're going for.
yeah, yeah,
I think you are very well able to produce kind of the mood that you're looking for. You know, you have that control. And so if the goal is to have everybody feeling a little better about, you know, like, well, hey, okay, maybe this isn't so bad. You know, we can, you know, this is kind of exciting, and, you know, you're hearing some good songs and stories, and it's like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. So I think they're definitely feeling better in that regard. I think they don't, you know, I think that you get a couple of really awkward motions that you notice that is like they're not sure if they're supposed to tip you or not. It's a little bit weird because you're like a paying passenger, but yeah, so and they also don't have a lot of money, and you seem like you probably have way more
well,
money than they do.
yeah,
So
and any attempts to like offer me any kind of yeah, no,
okay.
there would be I would not accept such a thing if it were presented.
Round of cheers. You are handed or offered at least a clay mug full of what you're told is the good stuff, which is clearly bad rum.
I'd probably take that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
All right,
Just
cool.
everybody's happy. Okay, my job's done.
Nice. Okay, so all of you then are able to complete your long rest, and I think you would probably be since you're turning in a little early. You can be complete in like you know preparing yourself and getting ready in the hours you know just before dawn if that's your choice. So is the idea that you want to wait for it to be full daylight to sort of get a better look at the island before you approach, or
Thought we were going to try to go in under cover, like, of twilight, sort of sneak attack, I thought.
No,
I
I
mean,
thought we just wanted to like go up reconnaissance style and like see if the entire island was covered with a blob.
I had the impression you just wanted to get a long rest first, but you know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
tell me. He's you know
Whatever.
the ship is at your disposal.
I'm ready to just go.
All right. So
All
we'll
right.
say that it is the early twilight before full sunrise, and to some extent, as you approach the western side of the island, where the city and the docks and such are, to some extent, the big mountain on the island kind of actually blocks where the rising sun would be coming up. So the whole silhouette of the island is kind of on display on the horizon as you are coming in. So most of what you're seeing is still kind of in the shadow of that, but the sky is starting to lighten around that. And you didn't, you know, you really only came in through the docks the one time, so it's not like you really know the city well, but it's clear from some distance out that the city and the docks are not as you left them. Um, There are here and there some little like columns of smoke, but the docks and like port area is essentially gone, and most of the big tall buildings that you had seen seem to be shattered. And the city seems at a distance to be, if not entirely destroyed, then dramatically ruined.
Okay.
That
Well,
answers that question.
yeah.
Uh,
Do we need? I don't feel any need to go in there, and I mean, it might be nice to help the normal people, but I doubt the ship is going to wait for us, even if we pay them.
Isn't this where we have to go anyway? Like, why are we not just going?
Where,
is it?
is it? Why are we
It's
going? Why do we have
one of
to
the
go
places we know the blob has touched. But I'm not sure if we're ready to take it on directly.
here? I
Well,
don't
we
feel
don't know
ready.
that it's here either. Also, but the spear is here. Like, and that's the ultimate goal, right?
The pillar, you mean?
The pillar.
Or a pillar, yeah, yeah.
I was about
I
to say
thought-
my
yeah.
we don't need my freezing drill spear. It's okay. I got another weapon. I'm good. But I appreciate you thinking of me.
Because we at least need to check in with like see what's happened with our rebel friends.
I did want to check in with them, but I think they're further down the coast. So maybe we
They're
could.
inland.
Yeah, beyond the cities.
Mhm.
Between
So
the
we're
cities
gonna have
and
to
the
land and
pillar.
go in.
Yeah, but do we want to land here or maybe, a beach a couple of miles south so that we're not walking into a city that just got ruined that might be overrun with who knows what?
Well, here I can. We haven't looked at it in a little bit, but I could put up the map of Dinut there if you like.
Well, we no longer have to worry about the siphoners as a threat for now, which I think is probably the biggest concern going into the city. Don't
least the
see the
ones that
blob
haven't
of
been affected.
annihilation, and yeah, figure that we'd probably see that from here. So no blob of annihilation, and
We've certainly
we
seen the
don't know if
effect.
there are any other enemies we need to be concerned about. So being on the ground and seeing things for ourselves is gonna help clear some of that up. Like, I don't know another way to obtain that information. No one else is here.
Okay. All right.
We do still have a relatively quick way to leave if we need to.
Kill everything?
I was thinking opening a gate, but
Oh, well, yeah, well, you did say leave. And I was thinking about making them leave. Yeah, all right. All right, well, we'll get Buster out when we get to shore.
So I think that if you are directing, I mean, what you know is that if you're looking at the map now, is that a lot of the southern coast of the island is kind of like rocky and cliffs and is not optimal for approaching that way, but there is sort of a little inlet like right there.
That looks
But-
like a good place.
Yeah, as you
Or-
are sort of moving along, moving east along the coast, you do see that there's some indication that the city is not just like annihilated, right? Like there is a lot of destruction, but it is not every single building leveled, and there does seem to be like survivors activity moving around, but the city is like functionally destroyed without that meaning that every single person in it is dead, if that makes sense.
are there any signs of the flying constructs we had seen before,
No.
either over here or over the city?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay. And none of the aquatic one either. We only saw one, I guess.
No,
but-
you're not seeing any activity of that type. What you're seeing is like I would imagine you have there's at least folks on the ship that have spy glasses, and they're just looking and they're seeing, people kind of like dealing with, rubble and just some activity within the city.
So it looks like the aftermath of a battle, but not an ongoing battle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But even this is not like what you would expect from like a conventional battle. Something really dramatic happened here. This is more along the lines of like a cataclysmic earthquake sort of damage.
How do you do a ping on the?
You just
Oh,
click
boy.
and hold in a location.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So my thought is like maybe. All right.
So, yeah, I mean, where you met with the rebels is actually kind of much sort of further in. So, like, it would probably be a couple of hours of overland travel to just go to that spot.
Well, no time like the present to hit the beach then, right?
Yep.
All right.
So are we
Do you
going
do you want
ashore
to
like
land here or here, or where? I mean,
that little inlet that
Yeah,
was
Okay.
pointed out?
sure.
But like, yeah, that
All
that
right.
thing right there.
Okay, so I think that there are some like smaller dock stuff there that seems like it's more or less untouched, but is too small for the big ship. But you are certainly able to take the rowboat out and go ashore, and Captain kind of just says, uh, good luck with whatever you're trying to accomplish. Seems important. But I've got to take care of my crew and my ship.
I hope to see you one day again under better circumstances.
Aye. All right. So I think that like there are sort of people around doing the sorts of things that you might expect when much of the city has had some sort of a disaster. People seem to be trying to, clear debris here and there, trying to get like supplies together. People look like they're maybe getting stuff together to try to, go somewhere maybe marginally safer. But there's sort of, so there's people, and I think you're getting, in fact, I think you're probably getting some people approaching because they saw a ship and thought that maybe that would be a way to get away somewhere. But the ship does not come in any closer, so I think people are coming in and looking to you and just saying, can you call the ship back? We have people that need to be evacuated.
I'm sorry, they were just dropping us off here.
Why?
We're trying to see what happened and what happens next.
They just kind of gesture at the destruction and just say,
What caused all this?
the giant construct.
One?
Well, it was I didn't get a good look, and it turns to another and just says, it was like no construct we've ever seen before. It was like 5 or 6 of the big constructs, but like they'd assembled together somehow, like into some larger body that was just bigger and more powerful than anything we've seen. It's just marched into the city and just began wrecking everything. We thought that the construct makers with their other constructs would provide some protection, but just they all they did was flee. They left us to just suffer the wrath of this thing before it marched into the sea.
marched into the sea. Oh no.
Oh no.
Which direction? Towards the main continent?
To the west.
Oh dear. Did it look like it was doing anything beyond just trying to destroy things? Was it looking for anything, or did it utter anything?
It didn't talk to anyone that we could tell. It seemed arbitrary in its destruction. Like it didn't matter so much what it destroyed as much as it just wanted to destroy what it could.
Beyond its strange appearance of multiple constructs connected together, was there anything unusual about its
It traveled
form?
in a cloud.
Cloud?
It was like it was giving off smoke that made it look like there was a fog cloud around it all the time. Every so often the wind would blow it a little bit and you'd see the shape underneath, but it just gave off a fog all around it, made it hard to see.
And
Hmm.
where did it come to? Where did it come from? Which direction? From one particular place?
I mean, we didn't see it until it was coming from, more or less the direction of the mountain, but where it came from before that, we don't know.
And I haven't seen any constructs recently. Have they all gone?
The big ones, many of them have fled with the other construct makers. Some here and there are still around, but only the ones that had declared themselves independent. All the ones belonging to the construct makers clan still left with them.
Hmm.
Is it the end of the world?
Well,
Not if we can help it.
yeah. What she said.
What are you going to do?
Fight things like that when we see them.
Whatever we have to.
Research primarily and then action.
They're standing there looking sad because the ship is sailing away. They don't seem terribly mollified by this promise so far.
You said there were some people that needed to be evacuated.
There is a half a city worth of people here who are now living in a ruin and have nowhere else to go. So
Okay.
I'm not. This is not a dozen people who would be fine if you just called the ship back. This is
Right.
this is this is a city in ruins.
Right.
So they, if you don't have anything else, they're gonna just sort of go back to trying to figure out where they're gonna
Yeah.
try to regroup.
I'm gonna let them wander off and turn to my friends and say, I really feel like making sure that, like, the worst of the wounded are taken care of.
That
Do
could
we have-
take days, and I'm not sure we have them.
I know. I hate being in this position.
There are big things to do, and not a lot of people doing them. We should
Not a lot
try
of people
to.
that can do them.
True.
We have to accept the fact that people are going to die along the way.
I have accepted worse than that on multiple occasions, working toward a bigger goal. But
The sooner we can get to that central part and put an end to this, if we can, the sooner everyone will be better.
yeah, but I mean, are we ready for that?
We don't have a choice.
I don't know if we'll ever be ready necessarily. There's too
No
many
one
unknowns.
is ever ready. I mean, really.
All right, well, at least send a message to somebody, Yobert, or friend of the Emperor, Nelson, or
Let's do that.
somebody, and let them know that that thing is heading in their direction.
Yeah, we may or may not be able to intercept it, but at least they can know. And the construct makers who are on the other side might be able to put up a defense.
Yeah. Well, Emerson's in league with the construct makers now, so if it's following them, they're going to get stomped.
Hard to
Well,
say.
I'm going to take the opportunity to use. Where is it?
Is that a move? Is that a move?
No.
Find a thing?
Cast
No,
massage.
I'm looking for message.
Well,
Or I
message
guess
is
sending.
cantrip,
Sending.
yeah,
That's what I'm
sending.
looking for.
Yeah.
Sending.
What I will say, I think that is clear just looking at the destruction around you is that the people at the construct makers having traveled to Emersham. This was their base of operations, and they were forced to flee. You don't think they're going to be able to hold it off at Emersham?
Not without
So
a
I
whole
think
lot of help.
the message that I will send to the friend of the emperor, because he's the one that's going to have the connections to anyone else that could possibly do anything. He's like the hub. So yeah, I hate this part. Have to count words. Yeah. Okay. Massive construct. The city's not fully destroyed. Wrecked Dinethir en route to mainland. Is there anything else I need to pass on?
Brings its
Near
own
Emersham.
fog cloud.
Yeah. Preceded by fog cloud. And then, I mean, like, I don't know what, like, we haven't seen it, so I can't describe it. So
Probably
yeah,
under the influence of the blob.
yeah, unknown operator. Advise Emersham, I guess, or something. Warn Emersham. That's all I can do. It's the best I got.
So there's a little bit of a gap, but then the reply you get is, our scrying has revealed similar reports. This seems like it needs an army to handle. Do you know where it's headed?
It was
We
heading
didn't get-
south from here.
No,
West.
that's not
West.
what I said.
Oh, it's not
It
what you
just
said?
took up, started walking into the
No,
water, right?
I said it went west, which
West.
is the direction of the mainland.
Yep, well.
Yeah.
All right, don't ask me navigation questions.
I don't want to burn another spell slot, because I don't have that information really.
Yeah. But the point is that if they're going to try to rally any sort of, you know, units or defenses
okay.
or offenses, they need to know more about what it might want or where it's going.
Yeah. Okay. I will burn another spell slot to answer. Unclear. Suspect Emersham was headed west. Let's see. Survivors here in need of rescue if possible.
I think
I don't think they'll have the spare resources, but
well, it's going to be, yeah. So I think the response is, we will begin taking steps to reinforce Emersham, assuming that they want our help. until the threat that could level a city is dealt with, we can't do anything for anyone else.
Yep, kind of what I figured. All right. I don't have anything else of significance to pass on, so
Hmm.
that will be it. All right. The friend of the emperor is now aware of the situation, and it looks like they're going to dispatch whatever forces they can muster to head towards Emersham, and I guess we'll hope for the best. That's about
Well-
as much as they can really do right now, based off of the information they had.
Yep. Well, so I guess we move toward the rebels, or at least where they were.
Really like to figure out what this somnic filter is that people have mentioned.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly, and it does seem
So-
to be connected to the machine.
I want to ask here, you're talking about now, given what you know, spending several hours walking inland to see the rebels for what purpose? I guess
Well, we
I'm
don't
just
know if
asking, is
100
that really what you think is the best use of your time right now?
We don't really know 100%. I mean, for all we know, it could have been them. I mean, I don't think so. But they might have some idea of what we're dealing with, or I don't know, maybe they're all dead. We don't know.
I mean, so you can do that, but what I'm just going to establish right now is I have established a great big ticking clock. There is a
Mhm.
city, an entity capable of leveling a city without much difficulty on the board, and it is moving, and it will not wait for you. So you tell me what
Yeah.
you want to do.
Do we have any means of? Oh, shit. You know what? I'm trying to remember what was the name of the construct that was kind of the head of the rebel group.
Placer.
Placer. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any good methods of fast traveling.
I
Not
mean,
really.
Okay.
Not unless we can like dig up someplace that's got some diamonds, and but that's waiting for tomorrow to change spells. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Best I can do is get us to another plane, which is the escape hatch, but there's no way to get back until tomorrow.
Do we not think that there'd be some kind of transport in town, a construct that we could take?
Well, I mean,
Possibly.
Couldn't we send a flare out to the boat and be like, come back and get us? I mean, they're probably
made
not
a
Look,
that
terrible
far.
I'm
mistake.
open
Please
to
come
other
back.
suggestions about what we want to do, but I don't think
Mhm.
going back to the mainland is really gonna like what are we gonna do?
fight the giant monster?
I
Give them
mean,
a chance, at
we're
least.
gonna have to fight it eventually.
I mean, I think we either try and call the boat back, or we see if we can get in touch with Placer or whoever operates Placer and catch a ride back to the mainland as fast as we can.
The travel to the mainland, we're talking about hours, pretty much by any means.
Well, yeah, by the standard sort of sailing ship, it was a few hours, but if you had some sort of a faster vehicle, obviously it could potentially shorten that.
I don't know how fast.
So, for example, the
are.
sea turtle construct that intercepted you when you first arrived here was certainly faster. But you don't see any of those obviously around, but I just mean there are such things that are faster. It's just a question of like how you might find one or where one might be.
I'm not sure if there's enough time. But I can get a friend for an hour. who can fly. But I'm not sure if they're fast enough to make it the entire way.
I think something that had a reasonable. I I don't know what you're specifically referring to, but my guess
Flight
is
speed of 60 is the
yeah. So
maximum it has.
I think that doing that for an hour would be enough. Yeah.
If we want to go back, I can call a friend. I figured it out last night. It was remarkably easy. A matter in some ways of remembering things that are beyond my time. But that's an option. I have the capacity to potentially call this friend multiple times, but it is expensive. I mean, spells, anyway.
I'm thinking we need to go save Emerson. I mean, there is a library there that I think I almost burned down. So, be nice to make it up to them by
If there's
limiting
a
the
library there,
damage.
we can't go because that will be the end of the library. That's just how it goes.
That would be the building it would attack first, actually.
Exactly.
So the only caveat I have, it is a spell that I did just learn, but it is a requirement that I would like to have as an heirloom that he never kind of realized before.
Okay.
Because it's an expensive 500 gold piece emblem.
Sure.
I really want to get, where are my good random name generators behind when I want one? There we go. Fantasy name generator. That's what I'm looking for, because I don't have a name offhand, and I just sort of thought about this.
Sure.
As he pulls from under his jacket, the kind of semi-fancy one that he's kind of favored more often, and as he does, a little more skin gets revealed, and you can see that the silvery ripples that have been forming across his skin are very, very distinct now. He's kept them mostly covered, but they actually kind of glow a little bit white, even in a small amount of light. And he pulls from underneath his shirt. This was something that my grandmother gave me, and I never really understood why. I've always kept it kind of just as a memory of her. She was an amazing crafter of things. My whole family is, except for me. I was never really good with machines. But I didn't know what it meant. And he pulls out a little larger than a coin size. For him, it looks a lot larger because he's such a small person. It's got two sides on it. One is, I believe, a bust of one of my ancestors. Rather handsome looking gnome, actually. And on the other, although faded and indistinct somewhat, well, it has a dragon on the back. And as I've been in touch with the magic within me, I've felt a connection to it. And may have said a few interesting words last night. Oh, let me just get on with it. And you'll proceed to cast Summon Draconic Spirit.
Okay.
And summons in this case, a white dragon spirit.
So I think the standard version of that spell summons a large draconic spirit. Is that right?
I'm looking for
I
the
might
size.
be
Yes.
only from
Yeah.
okay. So just to be, I think we're very much in rule of cool mode here because I want this to happen. I think a large draconic spirit would not be enough to carry the three of you, or like.
So it could carry the tower.
But yeah, oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. It could definitely do that. So we don't have to fudge any of it after all. So, but yes, it can definitely carry like one medium person pretty easily. But more than that would be slowing it down.
So it appears first to just be a glint on the side of the coin, and then very quickly tendrils of cold air fly out and swirl around him, taking on the draconic form that then shifts and glides over, and the dragon presents itself bowing his head to the very tiny Vertigo in front of him.
I don't know his name yet. I'm not sure if he has a name. Spirits are interesting in that way. I'm not even sure if I've actually created this spirit or simply summoned it, but I spoke to something, and it seemed to be intelligent, so this should get us there.
I think the this white dragon sort of sits on its haunches and regards you with a sort of a like a regal expression, but then nods in deference, and it says, "I think you will find you know my name." And this in the meta is an opportunity for you to quote remember what his name is.
And I'm open to suggestions because my brain is kind of blank and I can't find the stupid fantasy name generator I normally use. For whatever reason, it's not coming up. Does anybody have a suggestion for a white dragon spirit? Or not? Okay.
Okay.
Let's try this one.
I'm thumbing through
Here we go.
words in my head and nothing's coming to me. Sorry.
Let's see. Those are all really awkward.
Dragon names.
Kurtleanne in the chat says Bentrax.
Aha, there we
Kurtleanne,
go.
you are the winner. It is Bentrax.
Wonderful. See, I knew you knew it.
I'm not sure how, but it came to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bentrax, it's nice to finally meet you in, this way. I need your help to go stop something large and terrible.
I seek to do what you would have of me.
Excellent. This is my friend Zinhorn, also dragon. His name isn't actually Zinhorn, also dragon, although that did sound kind of neat. Zigleen, I guess Mistress of the Dark. Lynn, songstress, songer of many voices. It wasn't my most inspired, I'm sorry. All of you, Bentrax is our ride. Let's go fight a ginormous, scary thing.
Nice to meet you.
Yay.
So, does
Are
everybody
we
but
going in the tower then?
Nedry get in the tower, or is that the
Nope.
plan? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking a front row seat.
Sure. Well, I think
It's your
you
dragon.
kind of have to. You can't be on a different plane from him. But in any case, yes.
He is my
so-
plane.
Yeah. So I think as yes, indeed. So as your allies retreat within your magical tower, and you pocket that, have it like how do you carry it around? Because are you putting it in the bag of holding, or?
No, that seems like a bad idea.
I
Although
think-
we've done it numerous times at this
yeah,
point.
I think
but
at this point, it has been in there, but
Yeah.
yeah. So you're just holding on to it, like.
I'm going to say that at one point I had a belt crafted so you could like put it on like a backpack.
Because remember, it's still like a foot tall, even in its
Yeah.
smaller form.
kind of
So
strapped
it's-
onto his
yeah.
back like a rocket.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So yes, as you take your position astride Bentrax's shoulders, he takes off, and we have appropriately soaring music as you fly. Maybe it's that song from the beginning of Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh, nice. I like that.
But I think for the most part, you are able to get first a sort of like an even better view of the destruction of the city here. And it is, make an investigation check just as you're flying overhead.
21.
It does strike you that you can absolutely see like a path of destruction as something basically just moved into the city, and with relatively little change in its trajectory, just moved through, thoroughly destroying just about anything that was kind of within some radius of its position. Moved through. It did not, like, there are sort of notable landmarks that are untouched just because they were a little farther away from that sort of trajectory. But your impression is that there was deliberate destruction here, but it was almost kind of just arbitrary, almost like it cared less about destroying anything specific and more about just making a big mess.
So it's more that it was making a beeline for the coast and then just happened to, whatever it was in reach, it
Right,
destroyed.
but it's not like coincidental. Like it was destroying things on purpose. It wasn't just like it moved through and this happened to happen. It looks like there was like deliberate action being taken, but just that it was almost like just for the hell of it as it passed through.
Does it feel like there's a particular point of origin that I can see?
Well, so the map that I made in Roll20 here is not actually designed to reflect this specifically, so it's
Right.
not on there. But what you can see, I mean, the thing is that like where it came from was outside the city, so you can see more
Okay.
or less where it entered the city, but that doesn't necessarily tell you where else on the island it came from. However, you do look and see in the distance, you up in the hills, there was that one construct maker's headquarters that you had visited that you can see does also look to be a smoking ruin up in the hills. So it may have come from there. You don't know. But certainly, you know, there's a lot of damage to this city, which was not a tremendously, it was more of a dense city than, you know, large in terms of its footprint. So what was destroyed is quite a lot. But it's just, like I said, it wasn't sort of like conscientiously trying to destroy everything. It was more just kind of like whatever was in its path was getting destroyed thoroughly. Otherwise, it didn't care.
Okay.
As you are now flying in the direction of the mainland, headed towards Emersham, I assume, you are, you know, going to have to hurry in order to, you don't have a lot of time to spare. But I'll say that about 2/3 of the way there, you pass overhead a disturbance in the water where it looks as though something is causing a lot of like turbulence and like bubbling up from underneath the water.
I'll try to make a note of roughly where it is and
Yeah.
how much time it takes, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so you are traveling faster than it is, but go ahead and make another investigation check to kind of try to, because you don't know when it left either, right? But
Right.
not with any precision.
18.
Yeah, so I think at a just sort of really rough guess, based on, you know, what little you see of its movement right now, you think that it's probably only going to be a few hours itself away from landfall if it continues at its current pace.
And this is still online for Emisham
Yeah.
in this direction? Okay.
Does seem clear that that's where it's headed, at least to start with.
Okay.
All right, and
And I
so
will-
yeah, as you pass by that, let me also just illustrate here too that this disturbance you see in the water is quite large. It's creating disruption on the surface, probably 200 feet across.
Oh boy. Oh
Um,
dear.
And so as you pass by this area and start getting closer to Emersham, you see that it is somewhat changed from how it was when you left it, meaning more of those ships that were waiting to unload have done so, but a lot of them are still sort of just like anchored nearby or in the harbor. And so there's a lot of they look like they would probably be vulnerable in their current state. And otherwise, you do see there was, as when you passed through Emersham, there was already what looked like a factory of some kind that was under construction, and it was already much further along than any sort of mundane construction would allow. And it does look like it is somewhat further along, but it's only been, 12 hours.
Does it look like they're setting up any kind of defenses, as if they kind of know something might be happening?
Make an investigation check.
That is a dirty 20.
You see a little bit of what looks like very, very basic sort of barricades, but to your eye, they look like a pretense. Like that can't really, given what they were fleeing, they can't think those will actually do anything. So it may be that those are there for some other purpose. Otherwise, though, I think as you are getting closer in, you are seeing evidence that there are people like leaving the area altogether. But the city itself is, so it's hard to know from the air, but you don't see much in the way of like fortifications being set up other than these like really sort of, to your knowledge, obviously inadequate barricades.
Right. Okay. Okay. And as soon as we can land, probably just outside the city, I'll land. I'm sure that Ventrex is exhausted and possibly fading at this point.
It has been my honor to serve you in this way. Call upon me again if you have need.
I most definitely will. Thank you. It's been pleasant meeting you.
I'll set up the tower, knock on the door as soon as I'm on land. Wait for them to come out.
Yep.
Or special knock, whatever that happens to be.
Well, I think probably it really just pops you inside, right? Unless you wanted it to go do something else.
I don't. Could we not knock on the door? Oh, it doesn't matter. He'll pop inside.
You
No,
knocking
it's like you pop in,
is
yeah.
what you do to go inside.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, he'll pop in. We're here, and then pop back out.
They just got all these Legos out.
Well, the nice thing about the tower is you never have to clean anything up. You can just leave it as it was.
We've almost
Yes.
finished the edges of this jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle.
All right.
I did actually title this episode "Putting Things Together." So.
Well, there you have it. We were doing a puzzle.
Mhm.
We didn't know
In
it,
the
which is
tower.
probably not good.
Mhm.
Behold,
Right, I will,
Emersham.
follow.
All right. I get Buster out and get
I
him
had
ready for combat.
I had hoped that maybe those who had fled here and in their haste in building all these things were preparing more of a defense, knowing that this thing might come after them. But I'm not sure if they knew or fled before they really were aware. It's very, very large. I passed over it on the way, and it's going to be here in a few hours, I think. Still heading directly this way, though. If we have
Oh,
any
so we
means
have
of
a few hours. All right.
yeah,
I
if we have
will-
any means of defending or setting up defenses or letting people know, we better do it fast.
Well, I think we better find the people that are in charge and tell them. So I'm going to take a moment to put Buster's emotional support animal vest on
Yeah.
because
We
it
should
always
still-
confuses people, and that's an advantage for us.
We should
Hey,
still
Nick.
have some pull here after winning the prizes last week, month.
I have a thought. I don't know if it's even something possible. It would be cool if it worked, but maybe not. So you know that how you have that magic mouth spell,
Yep.
right? That makes announcements and stuff. Could you do that, but like bigger?
Bigger. I never really thought about making it bigger. Well,
For context, I'm thinking maybe some kind of like a warning system. Just kind of like loop a message, say, "Hey, get out of town. There's this big thing coming, and if you don't want to die, probably should leave." Something like that. You know, not those exact words.
So I don't have any meta magic that specifically targets that, although I do have something called heightened spell and something called empowered spell. They're really about defenses and about damage. There's no damage or defenses with magic mouth, but I'm willing to spend the points to try to boost it if that would work.
Well, so I think that y'all are high enough level at this point, and we're kind of in, very much in narrative mode here. So what I will say is that I am open to creative uses of magic at this time.
Also, that
Um,
sounds really cool.
so
A giant pair of lips singing.
Mhm. So
how big can the tower go? If I were to
Pretty
cast it on
big.
the outside of the tower and then you made the tower really, really large, it might enlarge the spell. We know it can go small, but can it go big?
Oh yeah.
Mhm. I don't think you have
Yeah.
ever actually deliberately done that, but you know that it's capable of it. You can make it essentially, if you imagine the regular full size tower, you can make it 12 times bigger than that.
So why
Maybe
don't we
even
make it the
another
smallest?
order of magnitude from there, but yeah.
Make it the smallest it is. I'll cast my spell on it and see if it scales with the size of the tower.
Okay. Let's do it. Why not?
I love this actually. What do you have the magic mouth say?
It's much like a sending spell. So, Lynn, what would you suggest?
Let me do this again. Okay. I'm trying to think of like she would want something that sounded like business like this is authority. So we don't need a voice that's like, no offense, Nedry, but I don't think maybe something like, I think Zinhorn might have a more booming quality to his voice. So, because we want to maybe kind of scare them a little bit, maybe. That might hurry them along.
I mean, we could put the fear of a god in it.
Okay, but specific words. Okay. So
A
it's
giant mega construct is approaching. It is planning to wreck
Let's
the
see.
city and kill you all. You have
please
a
clear the
hours.
city.
Or just clear the city.
Yeah. Hmm.
Should we
You
ask
can't
them
get
to
it to do
prepare?
some kind of like a countdown or something.
Evacuate.
Or
Um,
give an estimated like time for when we think, because you think it'll be maybe a few hours, yes?
true. Best I could really
So
do is to say probably by noon.
yeah,
But
I think and I think that's a good target. So we would rather err on the side of caution. So the more um cushion that we have, we don't want to yeah, like it could be here a little bit sooner, so
should we ask them to
overestimate.
prepare to defend or attack it or just flee?
I think they should flee.
Maybe those with the like we don't know everyone that lives here, so maybe there are people with the means to assist, but I think for the most part this should be an evacuation.
I'm just thinking of all those construct makers. They might be able to assist. Even if not directly in the battle, they might be able to provide shelter or cover or something.
A rally point. Then we should be specific about a rally point. Those with means to combat such a threat should rally at oh, there was the pub they were all fussing in at the docks.
Wasn't
I think
that big
they've
a
already
place,
got
but
that. They well, yeah, it's not a huge place, but they've already been using that as a sort of staging point for everything. So what else is of the most importance? I think that's probably the big ones.
okay. A gigantic construct bears down on the city to destroy it. Noonish, I guess.
Before noon.
Those with means to combat such a threat meet at the pub. Okay. Otherwise, prepare to flee.
I don't think it needs to be prepare.
Otherwise,
flee.
flee.
Otherwise, flee with all haste.
With all
Get
haste.
to the chopper.
Okay. Gigantic construct bears down on the city to destroy it. Noonish. Those with means to combat such a threat meet at the pub. Otherwise, flee with all haste.
All right. And so I assume so the way that this spell works, I believe, is that like you literally say the message and it's just playing it back, right?
Essentially, yes.
All right. So I think I will allow that you could use your spell to have someone else say it if you want. Otherwise, basically, I'm going to have there's going to be a persuasion check involved with delivering the message. It will be at advantage based on the other things that you're doing, but nonetheless, you know.
If it helps, I can assist with bardic inspiration. Little boop.
I was gonna say that we have Zinhorn do it and channel divinity at the same time and sort of like put the fear of Rashama behind it.
Well, you've
but
got-
Zinhorn.
Have you got
This
the
is
the
starting to
cantrip?
remind me of our little retelling in campaign 1.
It's got to be a little theater every time we do this.
Just
Do you
a
have
little
the
smaller.
cantrip to amplify the voice? It's the general.
Thaumaturgy.
Yeah, that one.
I have prestidigitation, not thaumaturgy.
I
The
did
cleric
have
should have it, one of them.
thaumaturgy. Hang on. I thought I did. Yes, I do have thaumaturgy.
Because that's the
I
cleric
do.
booming voice one. So
Yes.
okay, so Zin plus Thom plus Bardic Inspo.
As long as he has it. I mean, he might not have that equipped.
I mean, it's a cantrip, so like he might, if he didn't choose that one, he won't
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
And that's one that you can only cast like yourself. So
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you couldn't your voice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's you that
Yeah,
does it.
I think
So.
it's one thing to say that you, in casting a spell that records a spoken message, could have someone else speak the message. I think
Mhm.
that's sensible, but I don't think you can. A person with thaumaturgy can't cast that on someone else.
Okay.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you can,
So
he'd have to do it himself, or
so does
I would
Zinhorn
have to do it.
have thaumaturgy by any chance by the cantrip? Bated breath. I don't know if you heard me.
Yeah. Are you back, Paul? Answering, able to answer the question you were just asked?
Oh, I didn't realize that the question was to, uh,
It was to Zinhorn. Do you have
oh,
thaumaturgy?
not on me.
Okay.
I
Okay.
would have to change
No,
spells.
it's a
Alright.
cantrip. You can't.
No, it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I have thaumaturgy, so I could do it. I mean, I'm pretty mean, and at least I could be.
Or that could be a very calming presence if like you're very good at that. Like we don't want to cause panic, but we do want them to move.
Right.
I mean, a little bit of panic. It's probably good.
Urgency.
But
Yes.
imagine
Word flee is never really
yeah, channel the zen of the mistress of the dark, the calm quiet of death and
Yeah, the
whatever.
goddess of
and
death is maybe not the calm and quiet one.
Oh, sure she is.
a little bit.
Unless
After
you
all,
want
that's
to
what
meet her
death is.
today. Yeah.
I mean,
Peace
ultimate
and death. I
calm
don't
and
know.
yes, but that's what we're trying to
Ultimate
avoid at the
calm.
moment.
They don't need to know that it's coming from that place.
Yes.
I mean, that's all I'm saying. So I would do that, and I would use thaumaturgy if that's what you want.
Okay. I have the magic mouth to cast. If the other two have something else you want to contribute, I think all hands are good for this one.
Yeah. We can make this kind of a skill check. Like if.
Yeah, I'm definitely contributing the bardic inspiration so
Mhm.
that Mark will get a D12. So for whatever
Well, that-
roll he's got to make.
Probably Saline would
It
would
will
have
apply
that part.
to whoever makes the persuasion check, I would
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, well, the persuasion. Like I could do that. Like
I mean, y'all tell me. This is your plan.
Well, the
I'm rolling
thaumaturgy
with
is
it.
what's tying
Right.
it to Zalen at the moment.
Okay. But who's the magic mouth is yours though, right?
That is mine, yeah. But that's the mechanic.
So-
That's the method.
But someone has to make the persuasion. So I mean,
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a way in on that. Like I'm not
Well,
sure how I
certainly
can
you
contribute.
can grant your bardic inspiration to the person who's going to make the persuasion check, whoever that is, so they can use that to add to their roll. If you have other stuff, let me know. I'm just saying, that part of it is certainly fine.
What if Zaleen cast that thaumaturgy on Lynn?
I can't. We
It's
just
a self
we
only.
just
Yeah,
had this
that one.
conversation.
So the
Yeah,
magic.
sorry.
So the way the
It's
magic
okay.
mouth works is
Okay.
that it is specifically it is recording and replaying a spoken message, and I think normally the assumption is that it's the person casting has to do the speaking. I think it's reasonable to allow that someone else could speak while he's casting it, but thaumaturgy is specifically a spell that you cast on yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Can't help with that then. So,
I mean,
Unless
you
you just want to
possibly
say
could.
like you offering the help action. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, I already.
yeah,
used
I
the-
don't have anything more specific or better for it.
Well,
so.
you could do some wordsmithing on what we've written and kind of contribute your wordsmithing
Well,
role if you
already
want.
did really.
Yeah.
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 And
So yeah,
Zinhorn?
just whoever ends up pulling the trigger on this spell you're gonna get the bardic inspiration. So whoever y'all
Okay.
decide.
Does Zinhorn, you have like a heroic speech or something, don't you?
I do.
What's that involved?
I think normally that's like you have to give like a 10-minute rallying speech before a fight or something
Oh, maybe
like
that's
that.
it. Yeah.
But that would be something I would sort of Like we could say that that is kind of. I don't remember what the benefit is after you do that.
I
Yeah.
could give the Reader's Digest version of that, the TLDR.
Well, I just mean, you know, like it's oh man, what is it
What's it-
called? Because it's
That's
not
what
just
I'm
a rough
trying to
speech.
figure out.
Um,
Like,
I think it's a cleric thing, right?
yeah, it is.
motivational
But
speech is a spell.
There's also
Um,
a feat too, I think, that does something like that.
yeah, I don't have that one memorized.
There
Well,
was a
and-
bard one too.
Yeah, what motivational speech the spell does is just temporary hit points and advantage on wisdom
Mm.
saving throws.
Oh,
If an affected creature is hit by an attack, it has advantage on the next attack roll it makes. So I don't. So like, I can't necessarily just go through the archive of like everything that you all might have. So you guys
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
me what you either do or don't have.
okay. Well, so this is kind of a fudge, but because we went up a level and we did get a long rest, I got an extra spell slot that I didn't fill.
Okay.
So I could technically retroactively get motivational speech.
I mean, you are able to pick from your cleric spells anytime you do a long rest. So I
Right.
mean,
Okay. Um,
Oh yeah.
but
choose up to
but the
5
point
creatures.
is, if it like the
Oh yeah, it
but
just
that,
gives them
see,
temporary hit points.
well, that it
Hmm.
does some other things, but it's not really about like persuading or anything. It's about like
Right.
preparing for combat. Now, you could do that for you and your friends if you want. I don't know that it would necessarily play a huge role in the message that you're
Oh.
talking about making for the populace right now.
Could I also get thaumaturgy?
No, that's a cantrip. Unless you leveling up let you pick another cantrip.
No, I would have to give up one of the ones I have.
Yeah. So, I mean,
No.
all right. I think we are at
Okay.
the risk of overthinking this at this point. We're kind
All
of
right.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so are you doing it
Just
or
cast the spell and
I-
make it bigger.
not? I need whoever's doing it to actually deliver the message, and then we'll do a roll. So
Okay.
if Zaylene's delivering it, I need Zaylene to say it.
All right, so I don't know like exactly what we're saying other than that they need to flee the city because a giant
Well, Nedrico
Destructive
had
construct.
written out the text.
I can
so-
type the speech if you want it.
yes.
Okay, just give me a second.
Maybe Mark can just read it and be okay. That's what Zaylene said.
That's also the possibility.
Yeah, I want
I don't
the
mind.
delivery.
Mm-mm-mm.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are you typing it in the chat or in the
In the Discord.
Discord? Okay, cool.
The only thing is it'll just be the pub because I don't remember the name. I couldn't find it offhand. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
And I misspelled.
All right. So, I will read. A gigantic construct bears down on the city to destroy it around noon. I'm not saying noonish because that's ridiculous. Those with combat means, please meet at the pub. Otherwise, flee with all haste.
Nice. So
And then you said persuasion.
yeah, I think it's funny to imagine that the message is recorded exactly as you just said it, including the bits.
Yes.
I'm not saying noonish. That would be
That sounds
funny.
ridiculous.
Yes,
And
but
Yes.
yeah. So make the persuasion check with advantage because of the rest of the circumstances going into it, and then you also do have the bardic inspiration.
Okay.
Woo, that first roll is not great.
Ugh.
Can I silvery barbs or
Okay.
So
There
that's
goes.
17,
Mm-hmm.
and
Plus a
then
D12.
roll that beautiful bean footage. So 23.
Okay. So the magic mouth is cast on the small sized tower, right? So this
Mhm.
1 foot tall tower now has a sort of human sized mouth on the side of it to deliver this message, and it sounds basically exactly as you sounded when you delivered it.
I did use thaumaturgy, so it would have
Yeah.
been like,
Okay, and so it's like, and 3 times as loud, because I believe that's what that spell does.
yes.
So next is you what? Go inside the tower and you're enlarging it and then enlarging it again.
Yes.
So first, this little doll-sized tower becomes the full 4-story, 48-foot approximately tower that you are more familiar with. And then you all back up as it expands again and basically becomes a 50-story skyscraper
With a giant mouth
with a
on the
With a
side.
mouth
proportionally
on it.
sized mouth on it. So that is now 144 times the size of a normal human mouth. And it is calling this message tremendously loud to the point where it is echoing across the whole city, delivering this
Nice.
message.
And its
And-
its instruction is to repeat the message every 3 minutes. So it'll give a pause, then repeat the message again.
Yeah. So I think that as this starts happening, you watch the message, you hear it being delivered the first time, and then there's kind of a little bit of a lot of people going, wait, what? And then by the time it delivers it again, you're starting to see a lot more like activity. People are reacting in a variety of complex ways, as humans are and other sentient beings are wont to do. So
Did
yeah.
anybody notice the giant tower that
Oh yeah, no, they for sure did. They heard a loud voice and then they looked and said, "Oh God, there's a tower now there that is towering even over this gigantic factory that the construct makers just put up." So I think certainly from outside of town where you set up this tower, you are certainly detecting that your message is having a significant effect. Although if you want more detail, you'll probably have to actually go into town.
Well, we probably need to head to the rally point anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
pub at the docks.
All right, great. So I think as you are moving into town, everyone make perception checks as you're kind of headed for the pub, just to kind of see what you notice as you're on your way in.
is it bright daylight today?
Yeah.
Okay.
21.
23.
Okay.
13.
13. And how about Zaleen?
It's rolling.
Roll. 15.
15.
Okay. Yeah, I think like certainly all of you are seeing that there is a lot of activity, and I think you're also seeing that a lot of people do seem like they are absolutely preparing to flee. Like they've grabbed stuff together, and you get the feeling with some of them like they were maybe already on the verge of this already, but now they're doing it right now, as opposed to maybe we ought to leave. It's more like, okay, we're going right now. Zinhorn and Lynn, you definitely catch a few sort of snippets of conversation from people saying things like, then why did they even tell us to put up these barricades? And it's like they said that there was something coming, but that the barricades would help. And then you also, I think, pass, some like clusters of folks from the construct makers who have like, their activity, and you can hear them saying it's going to crush anything that looks big enough to be interesting. We need to just not be here, and we can regroup after it's gone. And so it does seem clear as you're overhearing various bits of conversation that like the construct makers were not planning to defend the city in any meaningful way. They're planning to be elsewhere when it comes, and then figure out what to do after that. But it also sounds like they maybe to try to keep the townsfolk from interfering with their plans. They told the townsfolk, we're going to hunker down and build these barricades, when in reality they're vamoosing.
Yeah. Suck it, construct makers.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I'd love to
Imagine
capture
the
that.
leopards eating people's faces.
Uh-huh. Well, and you definitely hear some angry townsfolk complaining. It's like they brought this thing here. We welcomed them. They said that they would protect us from the nightmares, and now look what's happened. And so you get a few where you're saying like, yeah, no, I understand that sort of like righteous anger, but then there's also kind of a few that are like, I told you we shouldn't accept any foreigners. And you're like, oh,
No.
well, okay, wait a minute. But you also are, I think, hearing some talk even from a few of the little, clusters of construct maker people that you still see kind of in town that are like making their own preparations. You see that like there's some that are talking about like, well, could we help? Should we try to rally? And it's mostly, it sounds like they're deciding that like whoever thinks they can fight this thing is a fool, and they're not going to even try, most of them. But there's some that seem like they're maybe considering it. But so you are making your way into town, and I think as you're getting closer to the center of town, you are starting to get some people recognize you. Because I assume you're not going in any disguise right now. You're just, yeah.
Nope.
So you are starting to get people recognize you, and I think people are starting to like crowd around you, desperate to ask for like, what do we do? What's happening? Are you here to help us? Please save us. And I think you're getting mobbed basically.
This is what happens when you hand out business cards.
I mean, you protected the city, from dragon armor at one point, and you
That's
won the
true.
beach festival. And
It's like we're always saving Emersham.
Yeah, we
Yep.
are the heroes of Emersham.
Well,
I think
obviously
that
we
I
don't
will
want
just,
to
like-
hurt them, but yeah, we got to get out of here. We got
Yeah.
to move.
Okay.
I think that we will just like calm them with, reassurance that we're gonna do what we can, and Lynn will use her persuasive
Yeah, I was going to say, it
godliness.
seems like we
Just-
might need a
yeah,
roll for that.
Follow the instructions that have been provided to you, and I think you will. We're going to do everything we can in our power to beat this thing that's coming.
Mhm. All right, so go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Pretty good at those.
Mhm.
Even if you roll a natural 1.
20, not natural.
Yeah, so I think that you are, so you are persuasive enough, certainly, that they, the most of the people around you kind of nod and agree, like, okay, well, we need to just get out of here, and they recognize they can't, like, literally, like, they're interfering with what you're doing, and that they just need to like to trust you. But you get the feeling that a lot of them are still kind of confused, and you've really only kind of reached the people that were sort of immediately around you. But nonetheless, much of the city does look like they are preparing to evacuate, and it's just kind of a question of like, it's not 100% clear how much time they actually have. You're going to have a lot of people who like, okay, well, we need to flee, but like, okay, by noon, is that enough? Do I have enough time to pack up all my stuff, or do we have to leave right this second? That sort of thing, or people having to go and check on their neighbors and So there's a lot of like chaos happening right now, but all things considered, your message was does look like it has communicated a take this seriously degree of urgency without necessarily just sending the city into a full on panic of chaos.
About as good as we could expect, really.
Mm-hmm. So I think that the the pub when you arrive there does not seem well populated. So in fact, if anything, the fact that you said that that was the place to meet if you were going to try to fight this thing has meant that nobody is around that. Like even the people who might have otherwise been there have decided to not be there.
Well, I mean, they're gone, so the more people that are out of harm's way, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's going to be too many people that can even do anything anyway. So like I'm not mad at it.
You never know who might be here. Maybe there was a wandering hero or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, any help we can get.
Well, and having talked to, the friend of the emperor, before, that they're going to try to dispatch folks here if they could, but, you don't really know who they might be sending or when they might arrive.
Well,
It'd be awesome if Sunya just like swooped in and like laser shot the thing.
well, I was thinking just went, boom.
Oops.
Was there something there? I thought that was a clear landing spot. Oh, goodness
Castle just sort
gracious
of floats
me.
up and
You're
starts
talking about
scraping
it-
itself across the ground to wipe off the bits
Yeah.
and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
is this like a Wicked Witch of the East
Yeah, there you
situation?
go.
Yeah.
Very much so.
All right.
All right.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Time for
Right,
us to
so I
prepare.
guess, yeah. What are there any like maps of the city hanging around, or like an immediate
Well, what
like the
I'll
water
say
areas
is,
and
like,
stuff?
I as a GM don't have a map to show you as
Right.
players, but yeah, I think that the town has maps. So
Right.
you
Well, I
could-
mean, yeah, this is more for like flavor, like us
sure, yeah.
discussing.
So you could get a map and
some
have
strategy.
have it on a big table and be looking at it. I'm just saying I can't like put one on the screen.
Right.
We
Yeah.
grab a tourist map.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the kinds for it's a placemat for
Make us
kids
roll for it.
at the tavern, and it,
Yep.
so it has a couple of like cartoonishly large landmarks on it.
Make a
does
few
not-
additions where
yeah, I
the
was gonna
new
say,
construct
yeah.
towers are.
Exactly. But yeah, you can start that. You certainly can also, because this tavern is close to the docks, and so it's clear also that a lot of the ships that were kind of out in the harbor are trying to prepare to get out of the way if something's coming from the water.
Yep.
Good.
So I would imagine that one of our ultimate goals, if possible, is to defeat this thing. But it might be more than what we can handle at the moment. So
We
I
don't
would
even really
suggest-
know what all it is, so this is going to be hard to plan for.
I would suggest that one of the strategies we might want to think about is at least slowing it down so the friends of the Emperor can possibly send more and get more time for people to flee.
Well, I can do a blade barrier and a circle around it. That might keep it contained. It might not
How
want to
big?
traverse it.
How big can you make that? The wake that I saw in the water could be as much as a couple of 100 feet.
Blade,
Tall or wide?
It would have been wide from that perspective, but I didn't see it directly, only the wake. So it's probably a
60
larger wake
feet
than it.
in diameter.
I might not be able to contain it, but at least.
I
Can
mean-
any of you do a similar thing? We could pair them together to make it corralled somehow.
I mean, there's I've got the prismatic wall.
Good.
I think what might be more effective, although we don't know how powerful this thing is. Like we've encountered things that can just like shrug off some of the strongest spells that we have. So, but I have things like Otto's Irresistible Dance available, and that one just kind of works unless, it's one of those creatures that just says, nope.
So Nidrigo, you having had this sort of connection to the destroyer are in a position to make an insight check here in a way that really no one else would be. So you can make that check now if you like.
Okay. I will definitely try. That's a 7.
Yeah, okay. So I think that you have the intellectual capacity to recognize at this point that probably tactically it's probably going to be even more powerful than when you last faced it, having done things to specifically achieve that end. But also figuring out what it actually wants is probably going to be helpful to you in terms of deciding what to do about it. But right now, I think you're just feeling sufficiently overwhelmed that you can't really make yourself think like it does at the moment.
I don't know what its ultimate goal is. Other than potentially destruction of everything, which isn't much as goals go.
Well, given who we think it's probably connected to, that tracks. That makes sense.
Well, it's an interesting question as to how much of it is attached to it. It might, because it's attached to a physical thing, actually be somewhat lessened, having to channel itself into a smaller thing. I'm surprised, actually, that it's coming this direction and not going directly for the... Oh. There is one thing it does need before it completes its mission. The last
Yep.
piece.
It needs the last piece.
Okay, well that gives us an advantage because we can move it.
Right. Well, also, that means we can lure it out of town.
You
Steer
mean
it.
like to the island that we were just on? I'm just saying.
Well, it needs to. Apparently, it doesn't just sense the final piece. Otherwise, it would have turned around and gone back to where we were.
Well,
So, if we show it what it wants, and assuming that we're right, then it's going to come for us. And we can, run away. And
So
try.
we're talking about like a carrot and stick situation here.
right.
Is that what we're thinking?
A carrot on a stick in front of a horse is kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Or a red flag, sometimes waved in front of deer, I think.
I think you mean a manticore.
Why would you wave a
Was that
manticore
for
in
owl
front of a deer?
bears? Wasn't that for owl bears?
I was thinking, do you mean a minotaur?
Minotaur, that's yeah. Minotaur. Yeah.
Because manticores don't have any bull in them. If that was the, but it's all.
That's
There are
that's what
layers
I,
to this joke.
That's what I meant
Number
to
of
say,
layers.
but I needed to run with it.
Yeah, sure. No, hey, you know what? That's always the better option rather than to just let it go.
Yep.
In improv, we call that a gift.
Yes, and
So, with an ability to somewhat steer it, that gives us an advantage. Do we want to try your walls? How tall are the walls? Could it simply step over them?
you mean the blade barrier?
And that prismatic one.
That seems likely because there's dimensionality to it. I mean, it's light, but yeah, there's
It's
not any more so than like a rainbow would have. It just hurts a little more.
So it can be 20 foot high, but that doesn't mean that I have to put it on the ground. There's nothing that says that I have to put it on the ground. It says the wall appears within range and lasts for the duration. You can make it straight or you can make it a ring.
I'm
Okay.
I'm not sure spells like these are going if we're talking about something that could potentially just be incredibly tall. I don't think things like the blade barrier and the prismatic wall are gonna be as effective as they would be for like a regular sized creature.
Yeah, but if
Um,
its chest is like 60 feet in diameter and I put it around its chest, if it walks forward, it's going to take a lot of damage. If it moves at all, it's going to take a
but
lot of
if
damage.
but if
I
it's
can do something too.
big, like it'll
Yeah.
I have this thing that I can do where I can create a fissure underneath it. And if
Oh.
it's all wobbly and it can't, like, walk really well or whatever, it could fall into the fissure and be destroyed.
That would be really cool.
How big a fissure?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a fissure. That's all it says. It
Yeah.
just says a fissure.
That's
But
why
yeah,
I
I think
prefer
as the
wizard
DM, I'll
magic.
say I think it probably does matter how big it is. But
well, I don't know. It doesn't say on the paper. It just says because it's on my talisman of pure good. It just says
Wait,
the
so
target falls into the fissure.
hold up. This is a construct, right?
Well,
Yeah.
parts of it are.
Well, if it's a construct, that means it can be gotten into. Now, I tried this before, and
Yeah, didn't you do this with the giant baby? The creepy
yes,
giant baby?
and
Oh God.
and I admit that my communication skills were not at their best that day, so I could have been more clear on what I was doing. But this time we have a little advanced discussion. So, if this is a construct, that means it has a door, probably. I mean,
Well,
unless it's filled with blob, I don't know.
well, not all
But it's an
constructs
option.
have people inside of them. Some are self-motivating, but this one would be large enough that there might be pockets to potentially move.
Oh my
Even
God, is
like
that the
maintenance
thing
shafts and
coming?
things.
How many hours
Have
is
I
it?
spied it on the horizon?
Oh, what if it's
Oh
like
no.
5 of those things?
We
Like,
talked until it showed up and we don't have a plan. I don't think we need a plan. I think we just go in and we fight it.
I mean, I think a
Because we're
plan
gonna
is a
make
good
a
idea.
plan.
I think it's worth a
Eh.
shot trying to get in and like super duper close range.
I
I'm
think
just
that
saying all this planning, like we're gonna get in there and we're gonna do totally not a plan. That's what always happens.
well,
Well, but it's good to talk about all of the options that may possibly happen.
I think I'm going to stay outside just because I have the last piece with me. And the more that I can keep it away from it is probably the better. I don't know what capabilities it might have if it's able to grab onto it and transmit it back to its other parts. If
You
it's
need
not
to let
all
me
here.
know
We
if you
need
go
to
inside so I don't open a fissure underneath.
This would be
Well,
called planning.
I did look up the fissure, and you're right that it's not size specific. However, it does require it to fail a saving throw.
Right.
So
That's what I said. If it walks all wobbly and stupid, then
Mhm.
maybe it would fall in.
I mean, even if you could get it to fall down. Now, the witness said that it was like 5 constructs that like join together.
Hmm.
So, like, if we could get into one of the legs and disable that, then it would fall down, and
I
would
think
think it would be easier to defeat.
It might at least change itself.
I think one thing we definitely need to discuss is the in case of absolute emergency backup plan. Like, Nedry, if we go down and it's like you don't see this going our way, you need to get out with the gate spell immediately.
I'll hold as long as I can. You still might be able to get out, and I can move people
We
around.
we cannot risk we cannot risk losing this piece.
Right. I'm
That
not
is
going to
the
be captured
important
by it
thing.
again. I admit that. But you have means to move around inside it, which I couldn't. So I won't go if I don't see you, but I'll be ready to.
If things start looking real dire, I need you to promise. If I can, I'll send word to keep you up to speed, but
It won't come to
if
that,
this
but I'll keep away from it. And if it, I have the spell, I have the book in hand. But I'm definitely not crawling
you're
inside of
gonna
it.
be the last line of defense. I'm just saying. So you need to plan accordingly. You're much better at planning than I am, though. So
The only problem with plans is that everything else doesn't obey them. It's rather frustrating.
well, that's why we make like 5 or 6 plans and then, do whatever fits in the moment.
Yep. Best thing about Plan A is Plan B.
You know what probably would have been super helpful?
An army?
I don't know, a diamond of infinite facets that could show us a winning strategy. Just
Yeah,
Gosh,
but
I
where
wonder
would you
if there
ever
was
get
some
one of
reason
those?
why I contrived some other reason you wouldn't have that here.
Mm.
I mean, you didn't have to take the Kraken's offer, but
Yes, I know,
But-
and I pushed for it. I think it's funny.
yeah. No. I mean, it's a valid point. Although, how much of a bummer would it have been to have that diamond and have it just say, "No, it's going to kill you."
Yeah, there are no
No
ways
matter,
out.
no matter what you try, you offer
one
to
of
it like
these.
it's like, well, what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we do this? And it's like,
Magic
yeah, it's
8 Ball
like,
says
nope.
you're screwed.
Yeah. No, yeah, but yeah, exactly. It's like the Doctor Strange thing is like there's one.
Yeah.
So
The only way to win is not to win.
so what I will say is that right now, I would like to sort of clock wipe forward to the next thing that happens. However, because we're close to the end of our session, what I'll certainly allow here is that, like, if there are additional things that you think of between now and the next session that you other preparations you would have wanted to make and would have had time to make, we can talk about sort of flashing back to have that in place. But I think what as we move forward, as everyone is watching the water and all of the ships have moved out of the harbor. At first, what seems like what you see is it looks like there's sort of a fog cloud coming from the water, but even at the distance, it seems like it's growing and growing. And then as it gets close enough to kind of see it, what you see first appears to be this gargantuan cloud, 200 feet tall and just as wide, too dense and too low to be moving the way that it does. Slowly but inevitably over the surface of the water, with the water trembling and rippling at regular intervals, enormous tremors like footsteps trailing off around it. And the wisps of vapor seem to be constantly bubbling up from some internal source, constantly replenishing itself as the outermost edges dissipate. But as you watch, these mists send out tendrils of purpose, occasionally resembling flailing skeletal limbs or even grinning skulls, before sinking back into the sickening gray fog. Within the cloud, you can barely make out a silhouette, almost humanoid if not for size, but with an outline suggesting elaborate armor. There is a gust of wind, fortuitous or not, as you would judge, that briefly reveals what was hidden. A hideous amalgamation of living constructs, at least 6 different construct forms, but distorted and contorted to fit together in this new shape. The right leg possessed of a long serpentine body, the segments gleaming with metal, and 12 limbs now flailing helplessly at the sides as the body now supports the rest of this abomination, the foot featuring a toothy maw sparking with electricity. Sharing the load, the left leg looks like some kind of earth-moving machine, not dissimilar from some of those you saw and fought on Dinethere, but carrying the rest as a limb, and small mechanisms flanking the makeshift ankle, reaching out to grab at whatever it passes. Each of the arms resembles a semi-draconic shape, though the hindquarters of each act as shoulders, and the forearms the long serpentine necks, making each hand a fearsome draconic head bearing enormous teeth, the right flaring with heat and the left exuding cold. The torso and head of this creature might have been a gargantuan humanoid shape of its own. In fact, it resembles the crawling colossus you once fought, though now enhanced by new limbs that extend its size, reach, and power. As you watch, what at first looked almost like a short cape around the construct's shoulders continues to smoke and fume, and the obscuring cloud once again surrounds this creature. And it marches out of the sea directly towards you. I think that is where we will leave it for tonight.
It's never kittens and puppies.
Do you really want to
Yeah.
fight kittens and puppies,
Yeah.
though? Amalgamated into a
I
giant
We'd
blob
happily
form?
lose.
So, yes, I will just go ahead and confirm, though, that it is, yes, it's Evil Voltron.
Okay.
I was thinking it was like the Attack Titan or something.
I was thinking the Dinobots from Transformers.
No, I was going for Voltron.
Yeah. So, we will find out what happens when the Pocket Protectors confront the Destroyer Colossus next time when we return for more adventure on so many levels.
So
many
many
constructs and
constructs
limbs.
and levels squished together. Ugh.